Hey guys, Alienfantom here, and today I wanted to bring you a video of a game that is called Fer.al. And this game is pretty fun. It honestly feels kind of like a World of Warcraft herbalism and mining simulator, but it's more than that. There's a story, there's so much customizing that it is kind of insane. And this video is pretty much just my views on the game. And honestly, I really like it. Like, one of my favorite things to do in World of Warcraft is just run around and collect things. And this game is a lot of that. And there's a lot of different mini games. So, in the game, you can completely customize your character with their height, their width, their thickness, and you can switch what kind of legs they have, what heads they have, what their ears are, what their tail is. You can change them all. Granted, I believe all of the characters only have 2 customizations at this current point in time, but when the game first came out, there was like 10 different options for every animal, but there was also only 2 animals back then. And every character has horns that you can, I believe you can take them off if you don't want them. And every character has a spark, which from my understanding is pretty much the spirit of each creature. Also go and change all of the patterns. They come with preset patterns and you can just take them all off. And you can change these, change the color, and if you know the way to copy and paste, which in case you don't and you play the game, you want to hold Control and FN. Then you press C, and it will copy the numbers for the color, and then you erase it in the box and hold Control FN and press V for pasting. I know it's weird that V is for paste and not P, but that's just how it's always been for these kind of things. Currently, there is 4 animals, and they are all based on mythological creatures, and that is how this is going to continue in the game. And there is the, I believe it's just called a dragon in-game, Kitsune, Senri. Then there is also the newest addition, the Jackalope, which I was personally very excited for because rabbits, bunnies, they're all over everything in my YouTube videos. It's kind of obvious I like them a lot. I love bunnies. And now I am one in the game, which makes me very happy. On top of pretty much being able to make your character look however you want to, you can also go and create items. It's kind of like buying, but you need to collect items to make the items. So it's kind of in a mix between crafting and buying them, since you go to a store to buy them, where with most things, if you craft things, you either do it at a table or just right then and there. So there's no recipes that you need. Technically, there are these things called enigmas, and they are kind of recipes, but we'll get back to those later. But with each item that you create, you have the random chance of making an epic item. Or it's called legendary, I forget. And you can actually go and farm all of these items that are like extremely rare to get, because you can only get them from making other items. And I honestly do it kind of often, and I often put them in my trade. So if you ever run into me and you want a kind of hard to get item, just ask. With these items, you can also pick the colors for the items. There will be several boxes at the very bottom, and you can sit there and interchange the colors with the dyes that you collect. I believe you can do this with furniture too. I have literally done nothing with my house. And besides being able to create items and customize the colors for them, you can also save all of your looks. Now, you only get 2 look slots to save, but it looks like they're going to make it to where you can earn yourself more look slots. Currently, the only animal that I believe can have 3 look slots is the jackalope. A lot of stuff with the jackalope has to do with the season pass, and I plan on making a separate video for the season pass that will show you each item being worn by each animal, and also show you all the different customizations and everything, because I haven't seen anyone upload a video of this yet, and I've been working tirelessly to try and get my season pass leveled up the whole way, so I can go and make a video for it. So the second I get it done is the same second that I will start working on that video. So if you see me and I'm asking for help for challenges, please help me, because it'll kind of just make it easier for you to see what everything is before you even get it. I'm almost there. I think I'm at 50 at this point. If not, I'm close. I'm probably at 30. The season pass is actually kind of hard, and it's very hard when most of your challenges you can't do till 3 days later. Which, speaking of that, the game has these nice open areas which are called the Expanse, and in the Expanse you can open chests, which is a fun little mini game that I am pretty good at most of the time. Sometimes I have brain fart moments and will destroy every lockpick I own. There's also recently, I've seen these little rocks that have fireflies all around them, and when you interact with them, they flip over with an arrow, and it points you into a direction for you to follow, and at the very end of it, you will get lockpicks or items. I've only seen these 3 different times, and 2 of the 3 times I got lockpicks, and the last time that I did this, which was today, I got ingredients. So, I said items, I meant ingredients when I first said that. I have no clue if you can actually get an item from it. I haven't seen that happen yet. There are also quests that you can do, which, if I would have known that the quests change every 3 days, or will disappear, I would have been doing them beforehand. But I stress this enough. Don't do any quests if you're getting the season pass until you have a quest, or until you have a challenge to do the quests, because otherwise you're gonna mess yourself up and you're gonna be stuck not being able to finish one. I did that with the Blood Tundra area, and I was very upset because I would have had a challenge done and out of the way that I now have to wait for like a week or 2, which stinks. Each of the areas have their own very unique layouts, designs, and music. There is the Blood Tundra, which is this snowy area that is just it's like a winter wonderland, but if you gutted something all over it, and just all of its insides are everywhere. There's no skin, but just insides. Blood, guts, bones. If you're a queasy person, you probably don't like the area. I don't mind it. It doesn't bother me. And I guess if you're an edgy person, you'll like the area a lot. Then the other area, which is kind of like... it reminds me a lot of, like, Asian inspiration. And it's very peaceful and calming, kind of foggy and mysterious at some places, but it's very nice looking. I don't remember if I said the name for it. It's Lake Root, if I forgot to say it. And then the third expanse area is Mugmire Marsh, which is a marsh, as the name says. And this is one of my favorite trees, and the place that I pretty much customized my jackalope to look like, because I love the runic trees. I love how it's just like this tree, but all the inside underneath the bark is this like glowy teal, blue, mint green color. Whatever you want to call it, it's probably more of a teal. But it's just so pretty there, and there's these glowing mushrooms everywhere. Some of the plants scream when you harvest them, which is always weird. But yeah, each of these places have their own little quests and stories that you can do. They all have chests, they all have these glowy firefly rocks that you can click on that tell you to go to other locks. They all have lockpicks that are laying around that look like this. And they all have a ton, and I mean a ton, of different items that you can collect. But at certain points in time, some of the areas are not accessible. And once every 3 days, one of the areas will either get refreshed with items, or have a new part accessible, or remove a part that's accessible. It's just kind of in the air. I don't know exactly how it does. I honestly didn't know it refreshed every 3 days. I just thought it was kind of like once a month they changed things, because I kept doing this thing where I just wasn't playing for a while. And then when I come back, everything changes. So that's kind of how the Expanse works. There's probably more mechanics and things that I don't know. There's this one daily quest you can do every day at Blood Tundra, and I believe you are killing salamanders, or you're feeding them to a tree. I don't know what's happening to these things. I'm pretty sure they were called salamanders. Like blood salamanders or something like that. It's very gory there, but it's still kind of oddly pretty. Which a lot of these areas, a lot of this game is just really pretty beautiful game with like some creepy undertones and some like, that's mysterious kind of feeling. So the other areas that you can go to are Shattered Bay, Sunken Thicket, and City Fer.al. City Fer.al is the main city, and the city that you will spawn into every time you get on, no matter where you logged off at. And there is 3 different stores you can go into. There is Centaura, which is actually not a store, it's just kind of like a hangout area. To Die For, which is a dye shop where you get ingredients, you bring them there, and you turn them into dyes. And then you use those dyes to change the colors of all your items that are your clothing and building items. And then the other store that you can go inside of is Fer.al Fashion, which is a clothing store. And this is where you will bring any stag enigmas that you collect. Now, in Fer.al Fashion, there's also this game called Dizzywing Dispatch, which is just a pretty much bejeweled Candy Crush game, if you've ever played any of those, that if you play them, you will get likes, which is the game's currency, clothing items, or ingredients. And they're pretty much completely random, but you don't seem to get items till you hit past like level 20, I think. And this is the only game that I've played that you only get one thing for every round that you do, but the rounds can go by extremely fast, so it doesn't seem like it's too much of a problem. Now, in the store to die for, there is also another mini game called Do or Die. And this is a game where you are making dies, and you pretty much just put the items in. If it's the wrong item, it'll give you a little, like, skull. If it's the right item, it'll give you a diamond if it's in the wrong spot. And if it's the right item in the right spot, it gives you a golden butterfly. And it's a pretty easy game, and each round you have the chance to win 3 items, and they can be anything from likes, ingredients, to dyes. So, if you don't have enough resources to make the color you want, you can always try your hand playing this game to get the resources you need, plus the likes you need, or you might just get lucky and get the dye you wanted in the first place. There is also this NPC whose name is Chemo, and I believe that's also what the game is called that you can play, and it is a gambling game where you gamble your likes to try and make more likes. I've never played it because whenever I need likes, I just play the games that I already wanted to play because I wanted to get more items. So, I don't have any footage of this game, but I'll probably play it once just to get some footage to show you guys. But I don't know anything about this game besides it's a gambling game. Now in Shattered Bay, there is 2 different stores that you can go to, but one's not really a store, it's just a dude that you walk up to buy things from. Or to craft things from, since you don't really buy items in the game, you craft them all. And the 2 different stores are the Reputable Goods and Twiggle's Workshop. Reputable Goods are... I've only ever seen them sell cosmetic items, like clothing, but maybe you can get furniture from there? But for Twiggle's Workshop, there is only house items. But in the same store that is Twiggle's Workshop, there is also a game called Twiggle Builders. I find this game kind of frustrating. It's not a bad game, it's just it's definitely not my favorite game, and I typically stay away from it unless if I am farming furniture items for these challenges, or if I am farming for ingredients or likes. There's levels in this that are extremely easy and some that are extremely hard. And you can replay the level over and over and over again, so level 30 is really easy. It's just, you put down this table, you draw lines to where the things need to go, and you're done. And it has a pretty high chance of giving you furniture items. And the last place on these areas is Sunken Thicket. Now there is 2 different stores here and only 1 game. And the 2 different stores is Lachy's Lab and Bellamy's Outpost. This place is where you go if you need some resources like leather, I believe gold, iron, and I believe you just pay for the stuff with likes, so it's just kind of, if you realize you don't have these items, you go here and you buy them from him. It's just for ingredients though. Now, Lachy's Lab is a place that you go to, and any items that you have collected from minigames that you don't want, or you made a bunch of items, and then decided these are never going to be traded, or you made a bunch of items because you were trying to get a rare item, you bring them here, and then you can disassemble them and get a fraction of what you spent on the items back, or if you didn't spend anything on them, then you just get pure resources back. And like I said, there is one game in this area, but it is not near either of those vendors, and this game is called What the Hex. It's pretty fun, but kind of difficult because you can end up messing yourself up really badly, really easily in the game. Each reward you get according to how many things you have matched on the screen before you shrink them all down. So the more matches you make without messing up before you shrink them, the more likely you will be earning yourself to a reward. It's pretty simple, but it definitely takes some practice to get better at. So that's pretty much everything for the areas. There's probably things I've missed. So, in the game you can also edit your sanctuary, which is your own personal home that you can go to whenever you want to. And I believe if you have anyone on your friends list, they can also go to your home whenever, and if someone clicks on you, they can go to your home whenever. I'm not sure if you can restrict it from people going to it, but people can just go and visit it whenever. There's several different features of the sanctuary, and on the right hand side you'll see that there is these 3 different tabs. One is for decorating your sanctuary, and there is a tab to go inside of your sanctuary when you are on it at the very top, but you can put any of your items that you have outside or inside of your sanctuary, and you can also decorate your walls with different items and wallpaper. And you can also put down different flooring as well. The next tab below the decoration tab is the upgrade tab, which this is pretty cool because your sanctuary starts out with just one room, and I thought that is just how everyone's sanctuary is. There's nothing that you can change about that. But not only can you go and build more rooms, but you can expand each room and make it bigger, which is pretty nice. Each room has materials that you need to create it and to expand it in a certain amount of time that it takes in order for it to be expanded and created. You can also pick upper and lower floors for your sanctuary. So the sky is literally the limit of how you want to edit your sanctuary. Now, from what I'm looking at, it takes a bunch of different materials that you get from Bellamy's outpost. So you can go to that character, buy a bunch of items, which cost likes. So it'll cost a lot of likes to build your house, but if you play games, you not only will make a ton of likes from playing these games, but you'll also be able to get more items to put inside of your sanctuary, and different colors to change your sanctuary items to. Now for the very bottom tab, you have the Swap Sanctuary tab. In this tab, you can look through all your different sanctuaries, and if you have any unlocked, you can switch it to that specific one. I currently have the castle one as my other one unlocked, so if I wanted to, I could make a grand big castle. And that is about everything I know about the sanctuaries as of now. I do want to state I had to actually go to my sanctuary and look at everything, just that so I knew how it worked, because I have not messed with my sanctuary at all since I started playing this game. There's a few more things in this game that I'd like to go over. There is now a selfie camera, and you can completely rotate it around, deciding how you want the position to be. You can zoom in, but you also gotta be careful because you can move your character if you hold both mouse buttons. And when you take the picture, it will go straight into your computer's memory. So keep that in mind. You can also choose if you do or don't want name bars on, which is a pretty nice feature if you don't want to take a picture of yourself and see a bunch of random people's names in the background. And there is also a reset camera button. So if you don't like how it's positioned and you want to turn it back to the front, you can do so. You can also use the zoom with your mouse wheel, like you normally would in game. And that's pretty much all the features for the selfie. There is also the Royal Boutique, which I believe before was where you used to buy items from. Like, say you wanted to buy the dragon, or you wanted to buy the castle sanctuary. But now it has been changed to where you buy star fragments, which is the in-game currency that you can only acquire with money as of now. There is also this store called the Astral Shop, which is a tab that will be on your right-hand side of the screen. You use the star fragments to buy any of the items in the Astral Shop, including buying the Season Pass. The Season Pass is also another tab that's on the right-hand side, but I'm saving the whole Season Pass for a completely different video to talk about, so expect that in my next video. There is also a social tab on your left-hand side, and this is where all of your friends will be at, and all the people that you follow will be at. So these will be people that they either like your character so much or like you so much that they follow you. And then there's also the tab of, for the same thing, but if you like the person so much, or if they're your friend and you follow them. And before I forget, I completely glossed over enigmas because I wanted to go over them with a specific thing, specifically the expanse, but I kind of forgot about them, so they're here at the end. Now for the final tab on the left-hand side, there is the sketchbook. Now, when you start the game, before you didn't have any sketches when you started, but currently when you start the game, you will have so many sketches, and then you can also find other sketches out in the expanse. Every sketch that you own, that you have found, are from random little items that are just kind of laying about that seem a bit out of place, and you'll have the option to look at them, and when you do, you get a new sketch. Now for the sketches, you have to assemble 3 of them together to get one of 3 enigmas. There is the stag, the beetle, and then I believe it's just called a twiggle for the twiggle one. Each of these enigmas you will hand over to their respective store owner person, and they will have a special tab for you that you can look at that is only for people that have that specific enigma. So it's pretty much a recipe. And the stag one will give you clothing recipes, the beetle will give you dye recipes, and the twiggle will of course give you sanctuary item recipes. Now you can sit here and just slap a bunch of random ones together and hope that you will get an enigma, or you can look them up like I tend to do, because I would sit here for literally hours just slapping these together, hoping I get something, and not getting anything. But these are very neat items, because if you see someone wearing a specific enigma item, you know that they either got the season pass because that's one of the ways that you can get enigmas now, or they found all the items that they needed, assembled them in the sketchbook, either on their own or by using a guide, and then they gathered the ingredients just to make said item. Now, I believe that has to be everything for Fer.al. I could be missing some things, but in total, there's a lot in the game, and it's still in beta, so they're still working on it. It's nowhere near done, and they're still slowly adding people to the beta. I don't know if you can still do it, but before you were able to put your email in, and you would randomly get selected to be able to beta test the game. Like I said earlier, I was one of the lucky people to be able to beta test, and I'm very happy about it. This game is beautiful, it's got lovely music, and I absolutely am obsessed with how customizable the game is. So, if you're interested, check it out. It might just be your new favorite game. It's definitely on like my top 10 favorite games list. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it helped you out with some things or informed you in some way. And hope to see you next time. Stay safe and stay healthy. Bye bye.